Good morning. Time for another Take Time Tuesday. We start by breathing, so breathe in and breathe out. I was watching an interview with Jon Stewart this morning, and he was interviewing the Kentucky governor. And in the discourse, something that was said really resonated with me. And it was a duh, I know this moment, but it took a lot to do. That would be that we, as human beings, tend to talk to each other where we talk at each other and not to each other or with each other. And in the political realm, especially, the successful politicians talk with or to somebody rather than at. And it's one of those cases where academic language actually works against communication. As an academic with a military background, I'm used to flipping back and forth between speaking a more colloquial English with people and speaking an academic, more precise, more technically correct language. However, that technical, precise language tends to be off-putting to most people because it's not how they inherently speak, and it doesn't address their emotional side. So we need to be better when we try to communicate with others to use the language that is speaking with or to somebody rather than at somebody, and meet them at their own language. And yes, that does mean if they don't speak English, to attempt their language, or at least dumb your English down to a point where it's understandable. And that's something very few people are willing to do a lot of the times, or will make the effort to do. And I'm no exception. Many of the conflicts I get into at work are because my default English from growing up abroad and being of an academic background is a more technical, correct, and specific English, but it's not how people like to be talked to, so they inherently distrust or rebut it. And that causes friction. So in cases like that, when I need to convince somebody that I work with to see my point of view, I have to shift. I have to not downgrade my English, but speak in a language that is less technical, less precise, less intellectual, and more emotional, more at the topic with the person. Remember, the next time you need to communicate to someone who doesn't understand your point of view, or is unclear what you're saying, or you need to make an impact to them using your words, remember to speak with them. Remember to use language that they understand, language that is comfortable to them, and more sympathetic to their thought processes. Academia, unfortunately, is really something that should only be used in an academic setting or an international setting when English is the default, but the type of English is in question. That is when you would need more precise English. Just something to reiterate how you use your language. Something to think about. Y'all have a good day.